Hello my lovelies and welcome to my first video of July. I know it's not technically July, but I'm saying that because all of July is going to be based on spiritual awakening. So today's video is Are You Having a Spiritual Awakening? Part 1. And today I'm going to go through 5 different behaviors of someone going through a spiritual awakening. Some may seem like they're overlapping, but that's because it's really about a spiritual journey. Like your soul is forcing you into the spiritual journey, hence spiritual awakening. So to get forward, the first one I'm going to share for part 1 is awareness of your old negative habits. Now, this is not saying, oh, you have anxiety, oh, you have depression. No, it's more about the coping skills that you used for that. It's more about addictions, about cycles you constantly are going through in your life and you just can't get out of. Like, no matter what you're doing, you constantly do these behaviors and they always get you ended up in this particular spot. And during this spiritual awakening, you start to analyze these old negative habits that you may have already known you had and think of ways to do certain parts of your life differently and avoid doing those negative habits. Instead of just being aware on a lower level, you're aware, you acknowledge, you accept, and you change those negative habits. You also tend to have weird sleeping habits. So this is number 2. Normal insomniacs, this may not fully apply to you because you're already a night owl. But some of the other aspects of the weird sleeping habits I'm about to say may apply to you. Waking up a lot, unable to sleep throughout the night once you've fallen asleep, insomnia if you're not somebody that's used to having insomnia, sleeping a lot during the day, restlessness. Some may start astral traveling and you're not used to it, which brings you into having sleep paralysis or sleep shock when you wake up. Another could be you start to have lucid dreaming and you're not used to having lucid dreaming. So just weird sleeping habits that are out of the norm for you. Number 3 is the feeling like yearn to need to make this world a better place. Now, you may have always been somebody that wanted to change the world. You may have always been a little activist minded or spiritually minded in wanting to change the world. You may have been an environmentalist, a feminist, what have you. But now it's at a deeper level. Like, you really, really want to go out there and you want whatever it is you're doing in your life to make a greater impact. And it's going to be more nature based and feminist based. I think for some people, from what I have read of others' experiences, community based yearning rather than like big picture. It's more small picture. You're not gonna be somebody that's gonna be able to pass litter just being thrown on the ground. You're gonna want to pick it up. You're gonna want to change the world for the betterment of basically Mother Earth, of people, of animals. You start to recognize that we all are interrelated and we can't exist without the other being helped and getting the best out of life as possible. So a deep, deep yearning deep inside to try and make the world a better place for the betterment of Mother Earth. Next one, number 4, a deep yearning for meaning in your life and a need to realize and recognize what your dreams really are. You start to kind of get into hermit mode, I would say, and start to think about, who am I? Who am I really? You start to cut yourself out from the world for a little while, to kind of get this perspective of who you are, because your thoughts are starting to go 1,000 miles per hour. It's like if you had, Google Chrome or Firefox or whatever open, and you had like 100 different tabs open, but it's in your mind, like you're researching yourself. Like, who am I? Who am I outside of this group of people, or these relationships, or my family, or whatever that I have constantly been around? Who is, let's say, for example, for me, Tiffany Lilith, who am I really? Who is Tiffany? Who is Lilith? Who is this person? What am I really on this earth to do? Why was I sent here? You feel a call to realize your dreams and your mission on earth. It's simply because your soul can finally, during this awakening, express through your physical body what it came here to do. It's no longer being blocked by this physical being and society's values, which leads us to the next excuse me, the next stage, which is number 5. The willingness to know who you truly are and to finally be yourself, with increased intuition and desire to reconnect both your spirit and your mind. So it's pretty much the step after that one. You don't want to be defined by society or others. You no longer, like, let's say your parents decided you were supposed to be a doctor, but inside, subconsciously, you've always known that you don't want to be a doctor. During this spiritual awakening, you're going to have this gut-wrenching feeling, I can't do it. Like, let's say you're in med school. I can't do it. I just can't. This isn't who I'm supposed to be. And your spirit, your inner being, is not going to allow you to go through with it if that's what you don't think. Or you may just go towards more of the holistic healing instead. Your intuition is getting higher and higher and higher and out of control. Like, you start to, maybe let's say you don't typically, let's say a better way. You aren't typically one of those people that when the phone rings knows who it's going to be. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's so and so. And then your friend answers the phone and guess what? It is. That's just a small intuition thing. You have an idea now of what direction you want to go. Your intuitions are stronger. That desire to reconnect with yourself is digging and digging and digging and digging more. Like discussed before, your desire to reconnect with who you really are is stronger and stronger than ever. You understand that you and only you know the answers. No one else can tell you who you really are and what you really are supposed to be doing. No one can tell you except for you. Even if you go to therapy, even if you go to guidance to a friend who's always been right or always been there for you, it's not going to give you the answers. This is the time for you. You might be able to be inspired by what others are doing and get ideas of, oh, that's maybe the direction I'm supposed to be at, but they can't help you. Only you and your higher being, higher consciousness, know who you really are and can give you the answers you're waiting for. So again, during this spiritual awakening, spiritual journey, you're kind of going to start going a little bit into hermit mode because you need to spend more time with yourself and you have a strong desire to trust your intuitions now instead of kind of ignoring them or putting them aside if you have before. So I guess a side note is another sign is wanting to be away from people for a while and just kind of like going into like, no, leave me alone, let me just be. Reevaluating. It's kind of like a midlife crisis, but happening at any age, I guess you could say. So that's all 5. Next week we will be going a little more in depth with 5 more symptoms that are less obvious. I think these are a little more of the obvious ones, but maybe helping some people who are like, wait, why is my sleep schedule off? Why am I wanting to be away from people more? Why am I coming up with all these ideas of things I want to do when I normally just kind of go with the flow? Like, why am I questioning everything about myself? Well, here are some answers. And you may just be going through a breakup or, a big change in your life, and it's hitting you now. From my personal experience, and again, experiences that I've read from other witches and other people in general, is these spiritual awakenings, spiritual journeys happen after a huge change. And I think that's because your soul and spirits and higher consciousness is kind of just sick of you screwing over yourself. So there you have it. I'm going to put all my information links below, like my newsletter, my Facebook page, the Etsy page, etc. I actually have to make more bath bombs this week to sell. I'm also, again, going to be releasing my chakra book soon. There is a little setback because I am going through a little bit of burnout, because as some of you know, I also do modeling as well. So there's that. And then right when I release the chakra book, I'm also shortly after going to release bags of chakra stones. So a stone for each chakra to help you balance and heal yourself. If you're not able to afford like a chakra healing from me or from somebody else. So, because the book will tell you how to heal yourself. So that's all I have for you today. And I'll see you next week. And thank you for watching. And I love you all. Mwah, and blessed be. Bye.